In the late 1800s, strange objects began appearing in private collections across Europe. Perfectly carved human skulls, not made from bone, made from solid crystal. Clear, flawless, heavy, and according to some dealers, ancient. They were said to come from lost civilizations in Central America, the Maya, the Aztecs, perhaps even something older. But there was a problem. No one had ever seen them excavated. No official archaeological record, no documented dig site, just stories. And yet, the legend grew. One skull in particular became famous, the Mitchell-Hedges skull, supposedly discovered in the 1920s inside a ruined city in what is now Belize. The explorer, Frederick Mitchell-Hedges, claimed it was found beneath a collapsed altar. His adopted daughter later said it was uncovered on her 17th birthday. A dramatic story, almost too perfect. The skull was unlike anything else, made from a single piece of quartz crystal, with a removable jaw, perfect symmetry, polished surfaces that shimmered under light. Some claimed it had mystical powers, visions, energy fields, healing abilities. By the 1970s, the story had transformed. New Age writers began claiming there were not one, but 13 crystal skulls. When brought together, they would reveal ancient knowledge, perhaps even save humanity. It sounded like something from a Hollywood script, and in fact, it eventually became one. Crystal skulls inspired novels, documentaries, and even major films. But archaeologists were uneasy because something didn't add up. If these skulls were truly pre-Columbian, they would have been carved using stone tools. Ancient Mesoamerican civilizations did not have metal cutting wheels. They did not have industrial polishing systems. They did not have modern lapidary equipment. Yet the skulls showed signs of precise rotary tool marks. Under high magnification, researchers began noticing something troubling. Tiny parallel lines, consistent circular abrasions, marks consistent with modern grinding tools. In the early 2000s, scientific testing began in earnest. The British Museum examined its crystal skull using electron microscopy. The results were clear. The carving marks matched modern jewelers' equipment. Further testing revealed traces of abrasive compounds not used in ancient times. The Smithsonian conducted similar studies. Same conclusion. No evidence supported pre-Columbian origin. Instead, records pointed elsewhere, to the 19th century Europe, specifically Germany. In the late 1800s, German workshops were famous for carving quartz crystal. Brazil supplied large quantities of raw quartz. German craftsmen shaped it into art pieces for wealthy collectors. Many so-called ancient artifacts passed through Parisian antiquities dealers during that time. One dealer in particular appeared repeatedly in documentation linked to crystal skull sales. Eugène Bobin, a French antiquities dealer active in Mexico during the 1860s. He sold crystal skulls to museums and private collectors. Later, when questioned, he could not provide verifiable excavation records. Over time, the timeline became clear. Most major crystal skulls surfaced in Europe in the late 19th century, not in ancient ruins, not in controlled excavations, but in antique shops and auctions. Then came the bombshell. Documentation showed that the famous Mitchell-Hedges skull was likely purchased at a London auction in 1943 by Mitchell-Hedges himself. No jungle discovery, no teenage birthday miracle, just a receipt. Yet despite mounting evidence, the legend refuses to die. Why? Because the skulls are mesmerizing. Quartz crystal is difficult to carve. Even with modern tools, shaping a life-size skull from a single crystal block is time-consuming and delicate work. The craftsmanship is impressive, but impressive does not mean ancient. There is also the emotional element, the idea that a lost civilization possessed secret knowledge, that ancient people were more advanced than we believe, that something was lost or hidden. These ideas resonate deeply. but archaeology depends on evidence, stratigraphy, context, carbon dating of surrounding materials, tool mark analysis, and in the case of the crystal skulls, there is no credible archaeological context. None have been recovered through scientifically documented excavations. Every major skull surfaced through private dealers. That matters, because without context, an object's story collapses. Today, most mainstream scholars agree the crystal skulls are 19th century creations, elaborate, beautiful, skillfully made, but not ancient relics of lost civilizations. Still, one question lingers: why create them? The late 1800s saw a surge in fascination with the exotic. European collectors craved artifacts from newly explored regions. Museums competed for rare objects. There was money to be made, and where there is demand, supply follows. Forgers have always existed, from fake paintings to counterfeit coins. The crystal skulls may be simply another chapter in that long history. Yet something interesting happened. Even after being exposed, the skulls retained cultural power. They became symbols of mystery, of ancient wisdom, of hidden truths. And perhaps that says more about us than about them. We want wonder. We want secrets. We want to believe that history still holds something shocking. But sometimes the real story is simpler. Not aliens, not lost supercivilizations, not mystical energy, just talented craftsmen, smart marketing, and a world eager to believe. So what are the crystal skulls? Ancient artifact or elaborate hoax? Science leans strongly towards hoax, but the legend? That may never disappear. And maybe that's the real mystery.